All right, let's dive in. Today, we're tackling how data analysis is changing the game in sales and service. You sent us some really interesting stuff to work with, a course syllabus on data analysis in sales and service, and then a bunch of articles about using data to really improve different parts of the sales and service world.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing how data has gone from just numbers to, truly understanding your customers and building experiences that really click with them.
Yeah, and the syllabus really pushes data-driven decisions. So no more gut feelings, right? We're letting the data guide us to figure out which products are killing it, what trends are coming next, and why customers buy, or, just as important, why they don't buy.
Definitely. Data takes the guesswork out.
Right. And there's this great example they give about an e-commerce company. They used data analysis and found out that, no surprise, their electronic sales go through the roof in November and December.
Makes sense. Holidays.
Totally. So they got smart, they ramped up their marketing before the rush hit, offered some sweet holiday discounts, and made sure they had enough inventory to handle all those orders.
That's thinking ahead. They didn't just react. They planned their strategy around the data.
Exactly. That's data-driven decision-making in action. And that kind of approach works for both sales and customer service. Imagine sales teams using data to find those high-value customers and then crafting offers that are so good they can't resist.
Oh, yeah. And on the customer service side, data helps you create a smoother, more efficient experience. There was an article about a telecom company that used data to, get this, adjust their staffing schedules.
Okay, interesting. What happened?
Boom. 30% improvement in response times. Happy customers, lower service costs. Everyone wins.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And speaking of measuring how things are going, the syllabus dives into those all-important key performance indicators, or KPIs as they call them.
KPIs, love them. They give you that snapshot of what's working and what's not.
Right. So for sales, they talk about revenue growth, which of course tells you how much sales have increased. But then they also really highlight the importance of understanding your customer acquisition cost, CAC.
CAC, yep. Gotta know how much it costs to bring in each new customer. Makes you ask yourself, is it worth it? Is it sustainable? Big questions.
Absolutely. And we can't forget about lead conversion rate. Out of all those potential customers, what percentage actually buy something?
That's a big one. Tells you how effective your sales efforts actually are.
For sure. And then there's the holy grail, customer lifetime value, CLV. That shows you how much revenue a customer brings in over their entire relationship with your company, high CLV. That's a sign of happy, loyal customers, and that's what we all want, really.
Absolutely. And it's not just about feeling good, right?
Yeah.
Think about it. If you know a certain marketing campaign is bringing in customers with super high CLV, you'd want to pour more resources into that, wouldn't you?
Makes sense. So we're not just measuring, we're using the data to make smart decisions about where to invest.
Exactly. And if you've got a product or service with a low CLV, well, maybe it's time to rethink your pricing or find ways to make that customer experience even better so you can boost that lifetime value.
Okay, so we've got these KPIs, these numbers that tell us a story. But how do we go beyond the numbers to really get inside the heads of our customers?
Yeah, that's the good stuff.
The syllabus suggests that we can use data to find out what customers are buying, when they're buying it, and even why they might stop buying.
Right, we can get ahead of the problem with something called churn analysis. By crunching the data, you can actually predict which customers are likely to say, see you later.
Oh, interesting. Like a preemptive strike against customer dissatisfaction. We're finding those at-risk customers before they jump ship.
Exactly. And there are a ton of places we can get this data. Your CRM system is a gold mine. It has all that juicy information about customer interactions and purchase history. But we can also use things like transaction records, surveys, heck, even support tickets and chat logs can tell us a lot.
It's like a treasure hunt.
Yeah.
There's this fascinating article about a software company that decided to take a look at their chat logs. They were trying to figure out why they were getting so many support requests.
Oh, what did they find?
Well, it turned out that a ton of customers were getting stuck during the login process. So they made a few tweaks, simplified things, and boom, support requests went down, customer satisfaction went up, problem solved.
Sometimes the answer is staring us right in the face, huh?
It's true. And speaking of making customers happy, the syllabus gets into this concept of personalization. And I have to admit, this is one of my favorite topics.
I love it too. Making those wow moments for customers by tailoring everything to their needs. It's magic.
It really is. Think about Netflix. They suggest movies based on what you've watched before. That's personalization at its finest. And there are so many different ways to do it. Personalized product recommendations, tailored emails, loyalty-based discounts, the list goes on.
For sure. And you can get super creative with it. Imagine sending a discount code to someone who abandons their shopping cart. You're basically saying, hey, come back. We miss you.
It's like you're reading their minds. Now, I know this is a bit more advanced, but the syllabus mentions these data-driven techniques like segmentation and targeting.
Oh, yeah. That's how you take personalization to the next level.
Can you break that down a bit for us?
Sure. Imagine you're a fashion retailer. You wouldn't send the same promotion to everyone, right?
No way. Different people are into different things.
Exactly. So you might target young professionals with those workwear deals, but then promote casual wear to your student customers. By tailoring your message, you're way more likely to grab their attention and see some results.
Makes sense. You're talking their language.
Exactly.
Okay, now I know the world of data analysis tools can seem a little scary. I mean, we've got everything from simple spreadsheets to those super complex programming languages. Where do we even start?
Don't worry, you don't have to be a coding whiz to get started. The syllabus actually gives a great rundown of the different tools out there, and there's something for everyone. You've got your trusty Microsoft Excel and Google Sheets, which are perfect for basic data entry and analysis, but then there are more advanced tools like Power BI and Tableau that can help you create these really cool interactive dashboards and visuals.
Oh yeah, who doesn't love a good dashboard?
And for those who are working with massive data sets, there's SQL, the language of databases, and even a taste of Python, which is like the ultimate data science tool.
It's mind-boggling how much you can do with data these days.
It is. But the important thing is to choose the right tool for the job. Don't get overwhelmed. Start with what you're comfortable with, and then you can always level up as you go. It's a journey, not a race.
I love that. It's not about having the fanciest tools. It's about finding what works for you and your goals.
100%.
Okay, wow. We've covered so much ground already. From understanding those key performance indicators to unlocking customer insights and the magic of personalization. And we're just getting started.
We've only scratched the surface. I can't wait to dig deeper into how to actually put this knowledge to work.
Me too. But before we move on, I want to leave our listeners with something to think about. What's one data-driven action you could take this week to either improve your sales process or create a better experience for your customers? It could be as simple as taking a closer look at your website analytics or brainstorming ways to personalize your email marketing.
Great question. Little steps can lead to big changes.
They really can. And we'll be back soon to explore even more fascinating insights from your material.
All right, welcome back to our deep dive into data analysis for sales and service. We've got the basics down, so let's jump into how businesses are actually using these tricks in the real world.
Okay, yeah. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. The materials talk a lot about spotting trends and patterns in sales data. Why is that so important? It seems pretty straightforward, right?
It might seem basic, but trust me, it's like the foundation for making smart choices. Imagine if you could predict those crazy sales spikes and dips like we talked about before the holiday rush. That's the power of trend analysis. It's like having a crystal ball, but instead of magic, we've got data. You can see those big picture trends, identify where the growth opportunities are, and make informed decisions about your inventory, staffing, even your marketing.
So it's not just reacting to what's already happened. We're actually looking ahead and anticipating what's coming next.
Exactly. And there are so many cool visualization tools that can help you spot these trends. They talk about using line charts to visualize your sales over time, and then moving averages to smooth out those little ups and downs. That helps you see those bigger patterns emerge. And then there are heat maps, which can show you exactly when those peak sales periods are happening.
I love visuals. A picture really is worth 1,000 data points, or however many data points there are. Okay, what about segmenting customers? We talked about different types earlier, but how do you actually decide how to group customers based on those shared characteristics? It can't just be a guessing game, right?
Oh, no guessing. There are some pretty cool data analysis techniques that can do the hard work for you. They mention clustering analysis, for example. One method is called K-means clustering, and it basically helps you group customers into, let's say, 3, 4, 5 clusters based on how similar they are. So you might end up with groups like high-value customers, mid-value customers, and low-value customers. Just based on their spending patterns.
So you're not just eyeballing it, you're letting the data tell you how to group them.
Exactly. And then there's DBSCAN. It's a mouthful, stands for Density-Based Spatial Clustering of Applications with Noise. Sounds intimidating, but it's basically a way to identify clusters of similar customers while ignoring those outliers, those data points that don't really fit in, like finding little pockets of customers who are really vibing with your brand.
Oh, that makes sense. But what if you have way too much data to visualize easily? Like, how do you even begin to make sense of it all?
Well, there's this classic technique called RFM analysis, stands for recency, frequency, and monetary value. It's a pretty simple way to score each customer based on, how recently they bought something, how often they buy from you, and how much they spend. Then you can categorize them based on those scores.
So like a customer who buys a lot, spends a lot, and just made a purchase, that's your high-value customer, right?
Exactly. And then you can use that information to target your marketing, create loyalty programs, and just tailor your approach to each group.
So smart. Okay, let's shift gears a bit and talk about sales forecasting. Now, this is where data gets really interesting because we're talking about predicting the future. How is that even possible?
Well, they dive into something called sales pipeline analysis. Basically, it's all about understanding the journey a potential customer takes from that first point of contact all the way to closing the deal. Think of it like a funnel. Leads come in at the top, and hopefully, a good chunk of them make it all the way through to the bottom where they become paying customers.
Right, the sales funnel. I've heard of that.
By analyzing your sales pipeline, you can see how well your sales process is actually working. You can spot those bottlenecks, those points where leads tend to drop off. You can track those conversion rates at each stage and even estimate how much revenue you're likely to generate from all those active deals. It's pretty powerful.
It's like having X-ray vision into your sales process.
Right. You can see exactly where things are flowing smoothly and where there are blockages. And there are different ways to analyze your pipeline, like funnel analysis. It visually shows you how leads are flowing through each stage, highlighting those drop-off points, and cohort analysis. Well, that lets you compare groups of customers over time so you can see how those customers who, let's say, signed up during a specific promotion are performing compared to those who came through other channels.
I like that. A way to compare apples to oranges or, different types of customers.
Exactly. And if you want to take it even further, there's predictive modeling. By using historical data and those fancy machine learning algorithms, you can estimate how likely a deal is to close, forecast future revenue, and make super informed decisions about where to focus your energy and resources.
Wow, that's pretty advanced. But even if you have accurate predictions, you still need to make sure those potential customers actually take action, right?
Yeah.
Click that buy now button or sign up for that free trial. That's where conversion rate optimization comes in, right?
Right. You got it. We want those customers to take action. Whether it's making a purchase, signing up for a newsletter, whatever it is, we want them to click that button. And the materials point out some common challenges businesses face with conversions, like high bounce rates, people landing on your website and then just leaving right away. Then there's cart abandonment. Ouch. That's a big one for e-commerce businesses. And unclear calls to action, they can confuse potential customers and drive them away.
Okay, so we know the challenges. What are the solutions? How do we fight back against those conversion killers?
Data to the rescue. A/B testing is a really useful technique. It's basically comparing different approaches to see what works best. So you might test out different headlines, images, button colors, you name it. You're basically running a science experiment on your marketing.
Love it. So we're making marketing a science, not just a guessing game.
Exactly. And then there's customer journey analysis. It's all about mapping out the key points where a customer interacts with your brand. By identifying those places where they tend to drop off, you can address the issues and create a smoother, more engaging experience.
So you're basically creating the ideal path for them to follow and then using data to make sure they're actually sticking to that path.
You got it. And don't forget about personalization. We've talked about it before, but it's super powerful for boosting those conversion rates. The more you know about your customers, the better you can tailor your messaging, offers, and even your pricing to create that personalized experience they're looking for.
Right. It's not one size fits all. We're treating each customer like the unique individual they are. Speaking of pricing, the materials mention something called data-backed discounting. I'm intrigued. It sounds a lot more sophisticated than just randomly slashing prices.
It is. It's about using data to figure out the sweet spot for discounts. Those discounts that entice customers without hurting your bottom line. You might offer personalized discounts based on what they've browsed before, how likely they are to buy, or even their loyalty status.
So it's not about offering the biggest discount. It's about offering the right discount to the right customer at the right time.
You nailed it. And, of course, you have to track your results. Are those optimization efforts actually paying off? The syllabus recommends keeping a close eye on metrics like click-through rate, cart abandonment rate, and customer acquisition costs to measure your success.
Got it. So it's not a set it and forget it kind of thing. It's about constant monitoring, analyzing, and tweaking.
Exactly. It's an ongoing process of refining your approach.
Okay, let's shift gears again and talk about the customer service side of things. How can we use data to keep those customers happy and coming back for more? You know what they say, it's cheaper to keep an existing customer than to find a new one.
So true. But sometimes it feels like those customers are slipping through the cracks. How do we prevent that? That's where customer churn prediction comes in. By looking at the data, you can actually spot those warning signs that a customer might be about to leave.
Interesting. So, like, if a customer hasn't bought anything in a while,
Yeah.
or they suddenly start leaving bad reviews, those are red flags, right?
Exactly. The materials point to a few key churn indicators: reduced engagement, negative feedback, even mentioning competitors, which means they might be thinking about switching. And of course, those subscription cancellations if you're running a subscription-based business.
Ouch, yeah. Subscription cancellations, those hurt.
So once we've identified those at-risk customers, what can we do to win them back? Well, personalized offers can be really effective. Think discounts, loyalty rewards, maybe even a nice email just acknowledging their concerns and showing you care.
It's all about making them feel special, like they matter.
Exactly. And proactive customer support can work wonders too. Reach out to those at-risk customers before they even have a chance to complain. See if they're having any issues and offer solutions before they even realize they need them.
It's like you're anticipating their needs before they even know they have them. Mind-reading customer service.
Right. And let's not forget about feedback analysis. Whether it's through surveys, support tickets, or social media comments, keep an eye on that feedback. You can spot recurring problems and fix them before they turn into a churn fest.
Sometimes the smallest changes can make a big difference.
Absolutely. And if all else fails, there's always the win-back campaign. Target those lost customers with some special offers, try to lure them back in. It could be a limited time discount, a free trial of a new feature, or even just a sincere apology and a promise to do better next time.
It's like a last-ditch effort to rekindle that customer flame.
Exactly. And you'd be surprised how often it works. Okay, let's bring back customer lifetime value, CLV, for a minute. It's not just about evaluating customer relationships, it's also a key to improving customer retention.
Right. We talked about how to calculate it earlier, but how do we actually use that number to keep customers from leaving?
Well, CLV helps you focus on those high-value customers, the ones who are bringing in the big bucks. Keep them happy, keep them engaged, and you're maximizing your long-term profits.
It's like the VIP treatment for your most valuable customers.
Exactly. And CLV can help you decide where to spend your marketing and retention budget. If certain customer segments have a higher CLV, it makes sense to invest more in acquiring and retaining those specific customers.
Makes sense. You're focusing your efforts on the customers who are most likely to stick around and spend more over time. Smart move.
Exactly. Now, let's get a little deeper into those exploratory data analysis EDA techniques. They can help us uncover even more insights about CLD.
Oh, EDA. Sounds fancy. Lay it on me. I'm ready to explore.
Okay, so cohort analysis is a great way to track groups of customers over time. You group them based on when they made their first purchase, and then you can see how their behavior changes over time.
So you might find that, say, customers who signed up during a certain promotion tend to have a lower CLV than those who found you organically.
Right, and then you can use that knowledge to adjust your marketing strategies, target the right customers with the right message at the right time.
It's all about getting smarter with your marketing.
Exactly. And what about RFM analysis? We talked about it before in terms of segmentation, but it's also super useful for understanding CLV.
Right. RFM, recency, frequency, monetary. We're scoring customers based on those three factors.
And RFM analysis can help you identify those loyal, high-value customers who are most likely to stick around for the long haul. They're the ones with high scores across all three categories. By understanding their behavior, you can tailor your retention efforts to keep them happy and engaged.
Right. We want to keep those VIP customers feeling like royalty.
Exactly. Now, if you really want to get fancy, there's survival analysis. It's a statistical technique that can help you predict how long a customer is likely to stay with your business.
So you can actually forecast when a customer is at risk of churning. That's pretty amazing.
It is. And with that knowledge, you can put those proactive retention strategies into action. Remember, we're all about staying one step ahead of the game.
Okay, all of this is super fascinating. But let's talk about something I think a lot of businesses struggle with. Sentiment analysis. How do you actually measure how customers feel about your brand? Like, are they happy? Are they frustrated? Are they somewhere in between?
That's a great question. Happy customers mean more sales, more recommendations, and fewer complaints, right?
Yeah.
Sentiment analysis is a way to analyze all that customer feedback. whether it's positive, neutral, or negative. We're using natural language processing, NLP, to do this. And once you have that sentiment data, you can identify any pain points, track how your brand is perceived, and even automate some of that feedback processing.
So we can analyze surveys, support tickets, social media comments, even those phone call transcripts if we have them. It's like you're reading the minds of your customers.
In a way, yes. And there are some specific techniques that can help us make sense of all that text data. Word clouds, for example, they're great for visualizing those frequently mentioned words. It gives you a quick snapshot of the main themes that are emerging.
So if you're seeing words like slow, expensive, or frustrating popping up a lot in your word cloud, you know you might have a problem.
Exactly. Then there's polarity scoring, which basically gives each piece of text a numerical score to tell you how positive or negative it is. And topic modeling. That can help you automatically identify those recurring themes in customer feedback so you don't have to read through thousands of comments manually.
Oh, that would be a lifesaver. But how do businesses actually use sentiment analysis in the real world? It's one thing to know how customers are feeling, but what actions can we take based on that information?
Well, one of the most valuable applications is identifying those customer pain points. By focusing on the negative feedback, you can pinpoint the areas where customers are struggling and then proactively fix those problems.
So if you're seeing a ton of complaints about long wait times, maybe you need to hire more customer support agents or implement a chatbot to handle those basic questions so your human agents can focus on the more complex issues.
Exactly. Sentiment analysis is also super useful for keeping an eye on your brand reputation. By tracking those sentiment trends over time, you can see how customer attitudes are changing, maybe in response to a new product launch, a marketing campaign, or even something a competitor is doing.
Right. So if you see a sudden surge in negative sentiment, that's a sign that you need to investigate what's going on and address the issue quickly.
Absolutely. And then there's the power of automation. Sentiment analysis tools can categorize huge amounts of feedback automatically, so you don't have to spend hours and hours reading through everything manually. You can identify trends, prioritize issues, and respond to customers more efficiently.
It's like having an army of data analysts working behind the scenes to make sense of all that customer feedback.
And let's not forget how sentiment analysis can supercharge personalization.
Oh, right. If you know a customer is generally happy with your brand, you might send them personalized recommendations for new products they might like.
Exactly. And if you detect some negative vibes, you might reach out with a personalized apology or offer to help resolve their issue. We're using data to build real human connections.
It's like you're a mind reader. Okay, let's talk about those data-driven personalization strategies we keep mentioning. Segmentation and targeting. Why are they so important for creating those personalized experiences that customers love?
Think about it this way. You wouldn't send the same generic marketing message to everyone, right?
Of course not.
Yeah.
Different strokes for different folks. We all respond to different things.
Right. So by segmenting your customers based on their behavior, their demographics, their purchase history, you can personalize your messages and offers to appeal to their specific needs and interests.
So you might send your loyal customers those exclusive rewards or early access to new products, while those price-sensitive customers might get promotions and discounts. It's all about speaking their language.
You got it. And AI and machine learning are getting so sophisticated that businesses can now predict customer preferences with amazing accuracy. Think personalized recommendations, automated marketing campaigns, even personalized website content that changes in real time.
Wow. It's like having a personal shopper for every single customer.
Yeah.
Okay, and I love this idea of using behavioral triggers to automate those personalized actions, like those abandoned cart emails we talked about before. It's so smart.
Yeah, you can set up triggers to send personalized messages, maybe offer a discount, or just provide some helpful information based on what a customer is doing on your website or app.
It's like you've got this customer service ninja who's always one step ahead, ready to swoop in with a personalized solution.
I love that. But don't forget, we need to track our progress. Are those personalization efforts actually working? The syllabus recommends looking at things like click-through rates, conversion rates, and churn reduction to see if we're moving in the right direction.
Makes sense. We want to make sure personalization is actually driving results, not just a fancy marketing gimmick.
Exactly. Data helps us validate our strategies and make sure we're delivering real value to our customers and our business.
Okay, I'm convinced. Personalization is the key. But let's switch gears for a minute and talk about something a little less glamorous, but equally important. Using data to improve the efficiency of our customer support. Nobody likes waiting on hold forever and getting bounced around from department to department.
You're right. Efficient customer support is crucial. It keeps customers happy and keeps those operational costs down. The materials you provided highlight some key metrics that can help you pinpoint areas for improvement.
Okay, let's get into those metrics. I'm ready for some data.
All right, so first up, we have first response time, or FRT. It measures how quickly your team is responding to those customer inquiries.
The faster the better, right? No one likes to feel ignored.
Exactly. A quick response shows that you care and that you're ready to help. Then there's average resolution time, RR, which measures how long it actually takes to solve those customer problems.
So a low RT means your team is like a well-oiled machine, efficient and effective.
You got it. And we can't forget about first contact resolution, or FCR. It's the percentage of issues that are solved in that very first interaction. The higher the FCR, the happier your customers will be. They don't have to contact you multiple times to get their problem solved.
One and done. That's the dream.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sold.
Yeah.
How do we actually use data to achieve this customer service nirvana?
Well, one of the most promising solutions is using those AI-powered chatbots and automation tools.
Chatbots. They're everywhere these days. But do they really work?
They can be incredibly effective, especially for handling those basic inquiries, like resetting passwords or tracking orders. That frees up your human agents to deal with the more complex issues that require a human touch.
It's like having an army of little robot helpers. I love it.
Yeah.
But what about those more complex issues that really do require a human touch? What do we do about those?
Well, a well-organized self-service knowledge base can be a game changer. Think FAQs, tutorials, video guides, even community forums where customers can help each other out.
It's like a customer service library, where everyone can find the answers they need without even having to talk to a human.
Exactly. And by empowering your customers to find solutions on their own, you can significantly reduce the number of support tickets and calls. That gives your human agents more time to focus on those trickier cases.
Makes perfect sense. But sometimes you need to make sure those urgent inquiries get to the right people as quickly as possible.
Absolutely. And that's where prioritization models come in. These models use data to automatically route those urgent inquiries to your most skilled and experienced agents.
So those VIP customers or those really complex technical issues get the attention they deserve.
Exactly. We're making sure the right issues are being handled by the right people at the right time.
Okay, so we've got our chatbots, our knowledge base, and our prioritization models. What else can we do to create a truly streamlined customer support experience?
Let's dive into those service response times and how they impact customer satisfaction. This is where data can help you really fine-tune your support operation.
We all know those long wait times can lead to frustrated customers, lost sales, and a damaged reputation.
No doubt. And the materials highlight a few common problems that can mess up those response times. First up, high ticket volume. If your team is drowning in support requests, it's going to take them longer to get back to everyone. It's like a customer service traffic jam.
Okay, so how do we avoid those customer service traffic jams?
Well, automation can be a big help. Remember those chatbots? They can handle those basic inquiries so your human agents don't have to. You can also automate things like ticket categorization and routing. That way, those inquiries are going to the right place right away.
Right. No more getting lost in the customer service maze.
Another common bottleneck is a slow escalation process. If an issue needs approval from multiple layers of management, it's going to take forever to resolve. Streamlining your escalation policies, reducing those approval layers, defining clear pathways for escalation, and giving your agents more decision-making power can make a huge difference.
Less bureaucracy, more action. I like it.
And then there are those manual processes that just slow everything down, manually entering data, repetitive verification steps, unnecessary approvals. All that stuff adds up.
It's like death by 1,000 paper cuts.
And last but not least, if your knowledge base isn't being used, that can create major bottlenecks. If customers are constantly reaching out to support for answers they could easily find in an FAQ or tutorial, it's putting a huge strain on your team.
We want to empower customers to help themselves whenever possible.
Exactly. So how do we use data to identify these bottlenecks? Visualization tools are our best friends. Heat maps and flowcharts, for instance, can visually map out your service processes so you can pinpoint those areas where things are slowing down.
I love a good visual.
And queue analysis can tell you a lot about those backlog issues. By tracking the length of the queues and how long customers are waiting, you can spot those patterns and trends that need to be addressed.
So if you're seeing consistently long wait times for a certain type of issue, it might be time to dedicate more resources to that area.
Exactly. And those customer complaints, They're gold. Analyzing those complaints and see as trends can help you identify those areas where customers are having a less than stellar experience.
Right. If you're seeing a spike in complaints about a particular product or service, you know something needs to change.
You got it. Now, what about solutions? Automation is key, right? We've already talked about chatbots handling those basic inquiries and automating ticket categorization and routing. But you can also automate those tedious manual tasks like data entry, verification steps, and even approvals.
More automation, less manual labor. I'm on board.
And remember those streamlined escalation policies we talked about? Those are essential too. Reduce those approval layers, create clear escalation pathways, and give your agents the power to make decisions.
Empowered agents equal happy customers.
And don't forget about your knowledge base. Make sure it's easy to find, easy to use, and full of helpful information.
Right. A well-organized knowledge base can significantly reduce support requests and empower customers to solve their own problems.
Now, let's shift gears a bit and talk about how we can analyze response times to improve customer satisfaction.
Okay, I'm listening.
Well, trend analysis can help you identify those peak periods when you tend to get slammed with support requests. Once you know when those busy times are, you can adjust your staffing levels accordingly.
So, like having more agents available during the evening rush or those crazy holiday shopping seasons.
Exactly. And regression analysis can help you figure out which factors are impacting those response times the most. Is it the complexity of the issue, the experience level of the agent, the time of day?
Right. Data helps us understand those drivers so we can optimize our processes.
One of the most insightful things you can do is correlate those customer satisfaction CSAT scores with your response times. This will help you determine the ideal service level that keeps your customers happy.
So you might find that customer satisfaction plummets if they have to wait more than 30 minutes for a response. That's valuable information.
Absolutely. So now, how can we use all of this information to improve those response times and keep those customers smiling?
Give me the good stuff. What are the solutions?
Well, optimizing your shift scheduling is a great place to start. We've already talked about aligning your staffing levels with those peak demand periods, but you can also use historical trends to predict future demand.
So you're not just reacting to the present, you're anticipating the future.
Exactly. Another powerful strategy is to implement those service level agreements, or SLAs. They're basically contracts with your customers that define those maximum response and resolution times.
So you might promise a first response within an hour or a resolution within 24 hours.
You got it. And by monitoring your SLA compliance, you can make sure you're meeting those expectations and keep your team accountable.
I like that. SLAs add a level of transparency and accountability.
And lastly, we've got our AI-powered ticket routing system. Remember, it can analyze those customer inquiries and automatically route them to the right department or agent, prioritize those urgent issues, and just keep everything running smoothly.
Those bots are like customer service superheroes.
Now, let's zoom out a bit and think about those bigger picture service bottlenecks that can really drag things down.
Okay, so we're talking about those points in the customer journey where things tend to slow down or break down completely.
Exactly. And the materials point to some usual suspects. A big backlog of tickets is a classic bottleneck. If you've got a mountain of unresolved support requests piling up, it's going to create delays and impact those response times.
It's a customer service logjam.
A slow escalation process is another culprit, as we talked about before, and those redundant manual processes, they're still lurking.
Death by 1,000 paper cuts.
Right, and if your knowledge base is collecting dust because nobody's using it, that's a major bottleneck too. If customers are constantly contacting support when they could find the answers themselves, it's putting a strain on your team and slowing down the whole process.
We want to make sure customers are empowered to help themselves whenever possible.
Absolutely. And remember, those handy visualization tools we talked about, they're great for spotting these bottlenecks. Heat maps and flowcharts can map out your service processes and highlight those areas where things are getting stuck.
A good visual can make all the difference.
For sure. And queue analysis can tell you a lot about those backlog issues. By tracking queue lengths and wait times, you can spot those patterns and trends that need some attention.
So if you're seeing consistently long wait times for a certain type of issue, it might be time to shift some resources around.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of customer complaints. Analyzing those complaints and those CSAT trends can give you valuable insights into the areas where customers are feeling frustrated.
Right. If you're seeing a surge in complaints about a specific product or service, that's a clear sign that something needs to change.
You got it. Now, let's talk solutions. Automation is a game changer. Remember, chatbots can handle those simple inquiries, freeing up your human agents for the tougher stuff. And you can automate ticket categorization and routing to make sure those inquiries are getting to the right place right away.
No more getting lost in the customer service wilderness.
And don't forget about streamlining those escalation policies. Reduce those approval layers, define clear escalation pathways, and empower your agents to make decisions.
Empowered agents, happy customers.
Exactly. And let's give that knowledge base some love. Make sure it's easy to find, easy to navigate, and packed with all the information customers need to help themselves.
A well-structured knowledge base is a beautiful thing.
It is. We're creating a customer service experience that's seamless, efficient, and ultimately enjoyable for everyone involved.
Okay, wow. We've covered so much in this deep dive. It's amazing how we can use data to improve every single aspect of sales and service, from understanding customer behavior and creating personalized experiences to optimizing those behind-the-scenes workflows and making customer support more efficient. My head is spinning, but in a good way.
It's a lot to take in, but the key takeaway here is that data is essential for businesses that want to thrive in today's world. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity. And by embracing this data-driven approach, you can unlock incredible insights, build amazing customer experiences, and achieve that sustainable growth we're all looking for.
So as we head into the final part of this epic deep dive, what's the one thing you really want our listeners to remember?
Data is all about people. It's about understanding what they need, what motivates them, and what frustrates them. Use the knowledge we've talked about today to connect with your customers on a deeper level and take your business to the next level.
Love it. We'll be back soon for the final part of this data adventure, where we'll explore even more ways to unleash the power of data in the world of sales and service. Welcome back to the show.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground. We've talked about understanding customers, using data to boost sales, and making customer service smoother. But what about all those behind-the-scenes processes? How can we use data to make sure everything's running like a well-oiled machine?
That's where the real magic happens. And, the materials you gave us have some awesome strategies for optimizing those workflows.
Okay, workflow optimization. Bring it on. It seems like we've been talking about automation all throughout this deep dive. Is it really that crucial?
Oh, it's essential. Think about it. AI chatbots can take care of those simple questions, so your human agents can focus on the trickier stuff. Those situations that really need that human touch. And automated emails, they can acknowledge those inquiries right away and even suggest solutions for those frequently asked questions. It's like having a 247 customer service team that never sleeps. I love that. So basically, we're setting up a system where bots handle the easy stuff, and humans are there for those more personalized interactions.
Exactly. And don't forget about ticket categorization and prioritization. We can use data to create rules and algorithms that automatically route those incoming support requests to the right place.
No more getting lost in the customer service black hole. That's got to make everyone happier.
Totally. And we can assign priority levels based on how urgent and complex an issue is. So those mission-critical problems get tackled right away. It's like triage for your customer service.
Love it. Okay, so we've got bots handling the routine stuff and a smart system for routing and prioritizing everything else. But what about the human side of things? How can we use data to help our agents perform even better?
That's where agent performance monitoring comes in, by tracking things like their response times, how quickly they're resolving issues, and those all-important customer satisfaction ratings. You can identify your rockstar performers. And then you can also spot those agents who might need a little extra coaching or training.
It's like using data to create a culture of continuous improvement. Everyone gets better.
Absolutely. And data can help you make those bigger decisions about staffing and resource allocation. Analyze that historical workload data, those ticket trends, and then adjust those staffing levels when things get busy. Make sure you've got the right people in place when those support requests start pouring in.
It's like having a crystal ball for customer support.
Yeah.
You can see the future. Okay, so we've got strategies in place, but how do we know if they're actually working? What are the metrics we should be watching?
Well, the ticket escalation rate is a good one. It tells you what percentage of cases need a manager to step in. Ideally, we want to keep that number low because it means our agents are empowered to solve problems on their own.
Give those agents the power.
Right. And the agent utilization rate, that tells us how much time agents are spending actively solving problems versus, sitting around doing nothing. We want a high utilization rate. It means our team is working efficiently.
Of course. But we don't want to overload them either. Burnout leads to mistakes, and nobody wants that.
Definitely. And then there's the self-service deflection rate. It tracks how many inquiries are resolved through your self-service channels, like your knowledge base, those chatbots, any automated systems you have. Basically, how many problems are solved without a human agent having to get involved.
So the higher that number, the better. It means your knowledge base is doing its job, customers are finding what they need on their own, and your support team has more bandwidth to focus on those more complicated cases.
Exactly. It's a win-win-win. Okay, so we've talked about how to optimize workflows, but what about the tools? What tech can help us actually implement all of this?
Yeah, let's talk tools.
Well, those CRM and help desk analytics platforms we talked about before, Zendesk, Freshdesk, Salesforce, they're gold mines. They can give you all sorts of insights into those customer interactions, how your agents are performing, and how efficient your overall support operation is.
They're like the mission control for customer service.
Yes. And then you've got process mining and workflow tools like Celonis and Power Automate. These tools can analyze your workflows, find those bottlenecks, and even suggest ways to make things better.
It's like having a consultant built right in. Okay, this is all super helpful. But we can't forget about those AI-powered support tools like chatbots and those sentiment analysis tools.
Right. They can automate those responses, personalize those interactions, and even figure out how customers are feeling in real time.
We're talking about next-level customer service here.
We are. And remember, the right tools make all the difference in creating a truly data-driven approach.
Okay, this has been incredible. We've explored so many ways to use data to totally transform sales and service operations, from predicting customer behavior to creating those personalized interactions to streamlining workflows and making customer support super efficient. It's clear that data isn't just a nice-to-have anymore, it's essential.
I couldn't agree more. The world of data analysis is constantly changing, but those core principles, they stay the same. It's all about using data to understand those customers, make your processes better, and create those amazing experiences that keep customers coming back for more.
So as we wrap up this epic data adventure, what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away from this whole conversation?
Remember, data is all about people. It's about understanding what makes them tick. Use everything we've talked about today to connect with your customers on a deeper level, build those strong relationships, and watch your business grow. Embrace the power of data.
That's fantastic advice. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the world of data analysis for sales and service. It's been an amazing journey.
My pleasure. It's been fun.
And to all our listeners, keep diving deep into the world of data. We'll see you next time.